everybody, hello and welcome to another Gilmore's Glorious Gossip, a show dedicated to our favorite voice actors playing D&D Critical Role over on the Geek and Sundry Twitch channel. Welcome to everyone joining us live, and don't worry if you can't stay, we are posting this on Monday. Many thanks to Akuma Mika at EmmaFrost91 over on the Twitter for the outstanding logo that you guys are all seeing right now. This week we have 3 more amazing artists. The current art that you are seeing is from Emmanuel Padilla. I hope I said that correctly. He's known as at the Requiem Man over on Twitter.
That's an awesome handle.
It really is.
Yeah.
Later you'll be seeing pieces from Jet at Ahoy Hoy Jet on Twitter. And a piece by Yang Tao, and I hope I said that correctly, at Yin Yang Art. If you'd like your art featured here, please let any of the show's hosts know via Twitter, and we'll do our best to get it on the show. You can contact us via the show's Twitter account, at Gilmore_Gossip. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can catch us each and every week. I'm Akiva, found on Twitter at AkivaDavid, AKIVADAPHYDD. And joining me today are my excellent friends and a very special guest. So let's introduce ourselves and tell us, if one member of Vox Machina were to go evil, who would you like it to be and why?
Hello, everybody. Kalia here, otherwise known as at Cosmic Candy, COSMICCANDI, over on Twitter. One member of Vox Machina going evil, have to say Percy, because he would probably be the coolest big bad because of his cunning, his scheming, his device making. I think he would just make a really, really interesting bad guy.
Oh, indeed. Not to mention he's already admitted that he wants to go dark. So,
right.
You know, he would play it really well.
Yes, he would. Evil Overlord.
I, for one, welcome our new evil overlord.
Hi guys, I'm Kat, Kitten Smitten G on Twitter. The person after last week's session with the Battle Royale, I would have to say I really want to see Pike. I'm sorry, I'm sold on the evil Pike. I just think it'd be the most epic thing ever. She would just revel in it. She'd love it. So, yeah, that's who I would want to see.
Indeed. Monster for sure.
Monster!
And our very special guest, go ahead and introduce yourself. Please let us know who you'd want to see go evil on Vox Machina. And we'll get to why he's our special guest this week in just a moment. Cody?
Oh, sorry guys. Dropped the call dropped. I just joined back. I'm not sure if anybody's said it yet, but I would love to see Keyleth go bad. By the way, Cody Smith, Twitter at HeyThereCody356. But I would just love to see Keyleth because she's always trying to do good, and it never really turns out how she wants. So I just imagine an evil Keyleth being like the best supervillain to ever walk the earth.
That's a good
one. It's kind of funny that you say that, because looking at the Critical Role intro, the new one that they filmed, I feel like we've already gotten a little bit of evil Keyleth already just from that intro.
Yes. And I can see that too. There's a lot of the bumbling superheroes in, like comics and even some TV shows. They try to be heroes, but nothing ever goes right. But when they go evil, everything just goes perfectly. And I could totally see that happening.
Yeah, full on, just take over the whole world. Vox Machina shaking in their boots.
Yes. Honestly, I have to agree with Kalia, though. I think if anybody were going to, it would be Percy, and I think he would pull the evil overlord bit. So
yes.
But let's get into why we decided to ask Cody to be our guest this week. He has a very interesting, very uplifting story, and I think everybody needs to hear this. So, Cody, if you would go ahead.
Well, thank you very much for that. Basically, recently became disabled. I say recently, about 6 to 8 months ago. But was looking for somebody to take the cane that I walk with now to get signed by Matthew Mercer down in MomoCon in Atlanta this past week. And, searching and searching, just getting a lot of retweets, getting a lot of likes, getting the word out there, but nobody that could really, do me the solid and take the cane for me. Because, as you know, disabilities does not pay enough to go to a 4-day con. But, so I get a tweet that says, hey, if you're still looking for somebody to take your cane, I might be able to help. And I'm thinking, okay, cool, somebody's around that can take the cane for me. And, of course, I answer back. I say, oh, yes, thank you so much. Just let me know when I can meet you, where I can meet you, what's easiest for you. And I get a direct message from what I call my anonymous critter angel. She still does not want anyone to know who she is, but I've been allowed to use the pronoun. But she gets hits me up with a direct message and tells me she knows I don't want a handout, but she would love to buy my 4-day pass for MomoCon. And so I'm already crying at that point. I'm a mess. I reply back and say, if this isn't going to put you out, I don't want anyone to be put out because of me. That's my ex-medical worker in me. But so we go back and forth for about an hour, and finally I give in, and she buys me a ticket to MomoCon. And that was just the start of the events. First day I get there, and I try to shoot. I saw a tweet from Critical Scope, if anybody has been watching their panels and whatnot, and they're needing somebody to record at MomoCon. They had somebody, but they just dropped out at the last minute. So I figure, all she wanted was for me to pay it forward. Why not do that? Make sure all the critters get to see the panel at MomoCon. So I get with them, and we plan to take shots from the main stage panel that Matt was on, and the Critical Role panel that him and Mary were having. And I get there ready to shoot, and I got there early enough to make sure I get good seats, good sound, good audio, good shots, make sure everybody gets the best shot possible. And in doing that, I kind of shot myself in the foot because the con was doing some kind of ticketed signing thing where, if you don't get a ticket, it's a first come, first serve. You might get a chance to get something signed, you might not. And with my cane and all, I'm not really able to stand there for an hour or two in the same spot. Yeah. So I have to call it. And I start to head home, and I get on the good old Twitter, and which, by the way, just to throw it out there, I had no idea how Twitter worked a month and a half ago, guys. I had no clue what it was. Okay, I made a Twitter specifically for Critical Role, but that's beside the point. I get on the old Twitter and ask anyone, is there any chance anyone can go the 4th day for me? Because I was just wrecked by that point. 3 days of 6+ hours walking. That's more activity I've had than in 6 months. So I'm looking again, using the old Twitter to look, getting some buzz, and all of a sudden I see I have a private message. I'm like, great, somebody might be able to help me out. I look down, and it is Matthew Mercer. private messaging me saying, oh man, sorry you missed the signing. Hate that. And, is there any way you could drive up and, we can set something up before the con and, you won't have to stand in line. It'll just be me and you hanging out.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I know. And so I'm appropriately freaking out at that point. And I'm going around to my mom and my wife, and my mom just looks at me. She goes, "You are not allowed to not go." um, yeah. So I message him back, and I say, yeah, that's great. Let's set that up. And he tells me he'll get in contact with me tomorrow. But has a chat. Nice enough to sit there and just have a chat with me and make sure everything's going good. And asks how I'm doing, and so I get up the next day, and of course my alarm does not wake me up. So I think I'm going to be so late.
Oh, no.
Yes, yeah. So jump out of bed, get ready in the quickest time that I've gotten ready since I had the surgery, and head to Atlanta. Just go to Atlanta. I don't know how I'm gonna take care of everything. I don't know if I'm gonna take MARTA, which is kind of like our subway / train. If anyone doesn't know, or am I going to just take the chance, try to drive straight through Atlanta, which on a good day can take you an hour and a half to get 4 blocks in a car.
Yeah, I've been stuck in Atlanta traffic. No fun.
Yeah.
How bad is it, man? Oh my god. And so I get close, and he direct messages me again and says, asks, make sure I'm still coming and everything's good. And so he direct messages me and says, I've got some time before the con. Do you just want to meet up at the coffee shop in my hotel? So I say, oh, all right, sure. Just nerve-wracked. And so I get to the coffee shop a little bit before him, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just, my knee is going a million miles a minute. And I text my wife, hopefully to calm my nerves, and of course she does. I texted her and said, we're meeting in a coffee shop now. This is so much more personal. What am I gonna do? And she texts me back with the most unimpressed text I've ever received. She just says, "Oh, yes." She says, "Oh, a cute little mandate." And so, so that instantly calms me down. And, here comes Matt Mercer. We shake hands and, exchange pleasantries. And he has to sit down. So I sit down, and we have a good 20-minute chat about, everything, not just Critical Role. He asks, about my surgery and, how everything is, and, just about, how D&D has affected everything. And, I made sure to relay to him that, those 3 to 4 hour episodes really do help somebody that has nothing to do but sit around all day and be cripplingly bored.
Indeed.
Yeah. And so we have a good conversation, and at the end, I finally get the cane signed with the appropriate praise of "you can certainly try." And I tell him, I was like, I got to get a picture, and I tell him, I was so nervous for this, and he's like, "Oh man, no, don't be." And I was like, "Oh no, it's fine." My wife texted me, and she says, "Oh, cute little mandate," and he just looks at me and he goes, "You know what? This is a mandate." So if anyone on Twitter has seen the picture, he is laying his head on my shoulder, and I promise I'm outrageously tall. I'm 6'9". He is not as short as he looks in the picture.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and and so at the end, he looks back and he goes, he looks at me and in his very Gilmore voice goes, "See you on Thursday," and then appropriately dies laughing, and he's like, that was too much."
Oh,
And so, yeah, quite a story.
that is an amazing story, and the reason I wanted to have it highlighted here was because it really does show how great the cast of Critical Role is. You know, Matt messaging you,
Oh God,
realizing that the whole reason you came to the con was to see him, and you weren't able to, so
yeah. Oh,
he
and
went out of his
but,
way to make sure you could. But on top
right,
of that, the love of the critter community actually got
yes.
you
Yep.
there in the first place.
I mean, it was all just an exercise in humanitarianism, as I like to say. I mean, it was just one person doing a small kindness for another. And let me point out, I forgot to say, which it's one of the linchpins of the whole thing. The guy at Critical Scope, Bram, um, emailed Matt my problem, and that was how Matt actually found out about it. And the second he found out about it was when he contacted me. So I really had to make sure I gave a shout out to Critical Scope for that. If he wouldn't have emailed him, that probably wouldn't have happened the way it did.
Indeed.
Oh yeah, Critical
But
Scope
yeah,
is amazing.
the community. I mean, it's all the critters. I mean, we are a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Absolutely. And I know your critter angel wanted to remain anonymous, but
Yes.
I want to give my personal thanks. I
Well,
know I know the
I let her know. I let her know she's trying to make the live show, but I let her. I try to keep her in the loop with everything. We talk on a daily basis still, so um, she will definitely hear anything.
Oh, absolutely. Just thank you, because my wife is disabled. I'm borderline disabled, and because I'm taking care of my wife, I'm unable to get my own job. So we're living off of her disability. So I know how difficult it can be to do the things that you want to do, the things that enrich your life.
Yes. Oh,
And
it's amazing. It's yeah.
for somebody to go out and do that for you is just amazing, amazing people in the critter community.
Oh, I've been a salty, teary mess since this all started.
Well, congratulations, Cody, because you've made me a salty, teary mess, and now I've got to do the
Oh,
rest of
sweetie.
this
Oh,
podcast.
goodness gracious. I
No,
hope
It's
happy years.
fantastic. It's
well
just so
known.
beautiful, and I've just had such a rough weekend, and then to hear that story, and I'm just like, yes, this is why we do this. It's just,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. I mean,
It's well known that I'm heartless. But I'm going to be crying. I'm going to be crying
Oh,
later.
you're not
So
heartless.
yeah,
no,
no,
I'm not
I
heartless.
get it.
But
I get it.
when everybody else gets overwhelmed with emotion, I tend to be the stoic one of the group.
Yes, I totally
So
get that. I relate.
Kalia may not.
it's awesome.
Kalia may not be tearing up
beautiful.
now, but I guarantee you, once this broadcast is over, she's going to find a nice, quiet corner and silently celebrate in her
I'm
own
gonna
way.
start
Yes. It's- oh my
That's
God.
lovely.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks to it speaks to so many people. I mean, I was in such a dark place before all this started. I mean, sitting around by myself all day long, and since this started, I have just slowly become, the old, as my wife likes to say, she's getting her Cody back through all this. So it's just
Oh.
it's such a great experience, and I'm so glad that sharing it can help people. Period. Like I said, I'm an ex medical worker, so my go to is to take care of everyone, and it's very humbling to see what this can bring to people. And it has nothing to do with me. That's the great thing is it's all the kindness of others
Yes.
Yeah.
and critters. I mean, I've lost faith in most of humanity except for critters. So
Yeah.
Critters are amazing people.
There
Critters,
seems to
I
be
know
you
the
that
guys-
best
I've been helped out by critters a couple times.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. But
Thank you so much for sharing your story, Cody.
yes.
oh no, I mean the very minimum I could do. Thank you guys for allowing me this platform to kind of pay back my critter angel. That's and to help anyone that might be a critter and feel like that they can't ask for help because
Yeah.
this community revolves around helping others to the best of your ability.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But with that, let's go ahead and get into our pre-show announcements. For those of you who may not know, on Wednesday before last episode, or before Critical Role episode on Thursday, Wizards of the Coast D&D had an event that at one point featured our very own Matt Mercer, and where they made a few announcements. There's an upcoming module / expansion for D&D 5e called
So excited.
Yes, called the Storm King's Thunder.
It's so great.
Oh yeah, yeah. It revolves around going a little bit into the backstory to before Faerun and the Forgotten Realms were settled by the quote-unquote small folk, the elves, the humans, the dwarves, etc. About how the dragons and the giants were just battling almost daily for dominance over the land. And with the rise of the dragons and that little module and expansion, the giants sort of sat back and just waited to see what would happen. The gods of the giants were like, no, you guys really should have stepped in. They were our enemies. Why didn't you do anything? So they sundered the ordning, that which gave the giants their power based on whether they were hill giant or stone giant or mountain giant, etc. And it's going to affect Faerun in some weird and wild ways. They're also introducing rune magic.
Akiva, real quick,
Yes.
let me ask. Do you know if this is post? What is it? The Sundering, like the Magic Wars.
Oh yes, most definitely. All of 5e takes place after the Spell Plague.
Spell Plague. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name of it. So, all right.
So
This is all post Spell Plague. Awesome.
yes, so the way to think about it is that 3.5 sort of established the status quo. 4th edition introduced the Spell Plague. That's why that's Wizards of the Coast's official reasoning for why 4th edition was so much different than the previous edition and following up with 5th edition. And then 5th edition, everything started to settle down and return to what was a little more recognizable. And so 5th edition is post Spell Plague and everything. But with the Storm King's Thunder coming out, they're introducing rune magic, which some of you out there who have been following the Unearthed Arcana from Wizards of the Coast, that I want to say 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, they introduced the
Prestige class.
the rune caster prestige class.
It was in October is when I downloaded it. I don't know.
Oh, so 8 months ago, 9 months ago, a long time ago.
Yeah, it doesn't have a date on it, but I've got October in my file set here. So
Long enough.
So I think this is where they were headed with that, because everybody was like, "What's with the Runecaster? Where are they leading with it? Is it going to be, something new?" But here it is. You're going to be able to get attunable runes, learn how to make them, attune to them, gain power from them, or you can place those runes into items. Sort of an alternative to quote-unquote enchanting items. You're now going to rune items to give your items those abilities. In addition to Storm King's Thunder, they're also going to have Volo's Guide to Monsters, and this is the one that I'm really looking forward to.
Every DM on the planet is waiting for this one, and if you're not, get on the ball.
So, Volo's Guide to Monsters is going to be an expansion for the Monster Manual. It's going to introduce new creatures and new playable races. I'm hoping for Pixie.
Oh.
as well as new lore behind the monsters.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get more of a story about mind flayers. And these are just some of the examples that they gave, but specifically like mind flayers. We're gonna get more background on the Yuan-Ti and all of those iconic D&D races. We're gonna get more flavor for them so that we can pull them into a campaign and they can now have a rich and varied history and background.
Yes.
I think Mike Merles tweeted out that he was having an in-depth conversation with Matt Mercer about mind flayers and how you could be sympathetic towards them.
Yes.
And that kind of
Nice.
went, oh, that's, yeah.
Clarence lives forever.
Chlorota.
Clarota.
But yes, speaking, Matt does appear to have. Matt does appear to have a bit of a hand in some of the flavoring for at least the mind flayers, and I'm sure other creatures as well. But using that as a segue, Matt is also working with Wizards of the Coast to do another D&D show, which will be part of the lead-up for the Storm King's Thunder release. It's going to be released on the Wizards of the Coast D&D YouTube channel. It might be streamed live. I'm not certain. But keep an eye out on that. It will also be... in the player group, Ashley will also be going as, yet again, with a cleric, but this time a more Percy-like cleric.
Yeah, she's going to be a cleric of Gond, and for anybody that doesn't know the history of Gond, he's basically one of the gods for gnomes, primarily gnomes, because they're tinkerers, but he's like the god of invention. So that's actually going to be really cool. I had toyed with using Gond during Desert Winds when you guys got to Mother of Mists, and then the story went a different way.
Yes. But, keep an eye out on that. I'm sure it's Matt as the DM. You know it's going to be good. Chris Hardwick is also going to be a part of that as a
He'll be a wizard.
It's going to be so good.
Yes.
Yes.
If you guys haven't watched the video on demand over on the Wizards of the Coast Twitch site, go watch it. That video was absolutely hysterical.
Absolutely.
Watching those guys play. It's completely different from Critical Role, but it is so good.
Yes,
In a great way.
The other members of the party are all comedians, so it's going to be hilarious.
2 of them have never played D&D before, and yet they did so well. It was like they just sat right into it. It was great.
Yes.
Well, if you want a taste of some of them, there's a couple that have been on tabletop playing RPGs.
Yes.
Oh.
But if you guys did not catch that show, don't worry. There are links in the description below that will take you to the Wizards channel specifically to the entire announcement. But if you want to just catch the game itself, because I know there were a lot of people in the Twitch chat that were complaining, hey, we came here for the game, where's the game? There's also the link for just the game video as well. But I highly encourage that you watch the entirety of the show, because there's a lot of detail that we've left out.
Yeah.
But also announced the Acquisitions Incorporated series, done by the Penny
Chris
Arcade
Perkins.
individuals, DM'd by Chris Perkins, yes.
Haha.
Yes.
Their previous shows are available on iTunes and other RSS feeds, so you can watch them there. Or you can go follow the link, also in the description, to the Penny Arcade YouTube channel. The games are posted there, and also on the D&D channel, the Wizards D&D channel. But they are also doing a weekly show that will lead up to PAX Prime, also known as PAX West. I'm sorry, I've been part of PAX since the beginning. I will always know it as PAX Prime. They have not stated when the first episode will be out, nor have they said what day of the week it will be released on. But those are always good games, so keep an eye out for that as well.
Highly recommended.
Indeed. And last but not least, the Dear Vox Machina Ask Vex has been released. That link is also in the description below. Highly entertaining, that one.
Yes.
I forgot to read it again. I do this every week.
It was very Vex. It was very Vex.
It's very Vex, but at the same time, it shows a bit of growth, in my opinion. It's not the grabby hands, give me the treasure. That is
Sorry,
a
guys.
little bit in there, but there's actually a bit of maturity to it that I really like. So that will bring us into comments from last episode of Gilmore's Glorious Gossip. And this one is coming from Cryomancer Maurice again. Hello, Cryomancer. So he stated that he just loved when Pike called herself a monster. It just makes me wish that she had worshipped a chaotic good deity of some kind, so she'd have that one reason to let loose like that. Bad evil Pike would be the most adorable thing. If you consider this as a whole, which Vox Machina member would make an excellent villain? Like, who would you see be the big bad and be interesting as well as convincing? I just want to say Vex because I'd feel she'd take a Maleficent or Cruella de Vil heel turn. And so,
Ooh, very interesting.
yes.
Very interesting.
And that's why I actually chose this question for our introduction question.
Vexalia Deville. Vexalia Deville. She'll kill good lies like nobody will.
Yes.
Do.
But that's why I chose this week's introduction question. Thank you so much for your comment, Maurice. If you guys want to have your comment featured, make sure you leave one, and we will choose one. Whichever one stands out most, we will definitely get that on here. So that will bring us into the episode itself, and what an episode it was.
Yes, it was.
Yep.
So
Did not disappoint.
no, it did not.
No.
It was worth waiting 2 weeks for.
Oh,
And-
God.
Mm-hmm.
And before we actually get into this, I just want to remind everybody out there, remember, Matt changes his monsters to fit the party. And he did an excellent
Yeah.
job with this to provide a
Yes.
challenge.
He
So-
fits the narrative.
Yes.
Yes.
All these people, I see all these complaints. I'm just like, come on, enjoy the story.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, even in the Critters D&D chat, we're reminding people in there, look, when we give stats and stuff, we're just giving stats for vanilla monsters. We know that Matt changes them. We don't have any kind of problem with that. We're just giving stats for vanilla monsters so that you have an idea how powerful they could be.
More
You know,
specifically, more specifically, so you have a baseline of how powerful they can be.
Right.
They can always be stronger or weaker depending on the needs of the DM.
Right.
And there were a number of people who were complaining about how long... At one point, Umbrasyl cast greater invisibility upon himself. And there were people who were complaining about how long that lasted. I'm sorry, dragons are inherently magical. It will last as long as that dragon wants.
Yeah.
Yes.
If he keeps passing those constitution checks or concentration checks.
And it's very unlikely to fail a concentration check.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Well,
He's a dragon, man. He's a dragon.
So, but the episode started
Not only that, but they're like challenge rating 20 plus, so he's getting bonuses of 10 and 20 to rolls.
Yeah.
So yeah, very, very unlikely that he's going to be failing any of that stuff, although it was happening.
Yes. So the episode picked up, right where it left off. Vax and Scanlan were in the stomach region of the dragon. Grog was hanging from its tail by the chain. And everybody else was just watching as the four of them sped away. So, they started out with the fight with just, 4 initiatives, Umbrasyl and our 3 heroes. And I have to admit, I was worried at the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, yeesh.
Kind of wondering what they were going to do.
Yes.
How they were going to handle it. Yeah.
So Travis climbs up the tail.
It's all part of the plan.
Did he ever actually... Oh, he got onto the tail, did he?
He got on once.
Once.
And
On a
then-
leg, I think.
No, he got up onto the tail. Because the axe was lodged at the base of Umbrasyl's tail.
Right.
Sam, being in the stomach proper, was like, I've got to get out of this dragon. And so he tries to squeeze through the hole that was made by the immovable rod by turning into a snake.
A poisonous snake.
A poisonous snake.
Not just a snake.
A logical choice for Scanlan Shorthall.
Yeah. And
Because he's the best snake ever to snake. Ever.
well, not only that, but then of course Marisha pops up with her. I have a feeling I've seen a scene like this in sex ed.
Which had the entire table shaking their heads.
It was the first thing I'd thought of as well, though. I'm like, yeah, she's on my wavelength.
Absolutely.
I think every critter was on the wavelength. I don't think it needed to be said.
Right.
But it made it that much more fun. That much more fun than it was. But with some assistance from the giant eagles that Vex had summoned, the party gives chase, and Vax, using the arrow as a guide, eventually manages to cut a hole through the stomach, or the outer stomach of Umbrasyl, in order to get his head and arm out so he can, breathe. And at that point, Umbrasyl's like, this is just insane. So right after Scanlan realizes he's not getting out in his snake form, Scanlan casts Bigby's hand, and we get a really weird fisting scene.
everything with him is sexual.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it. Even when he tries to not be sexual, it's sexual.
Yes, but this time he was laying it on thick.
He was, but
What were you saying, Cody? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying he has to. I mean, it's Scanlan Shorthalt. Everything it has, even when he's not trying, it's got to be sexual.
Oh, of course. The hand finally breaks through. Sam follows it out and, hugging onto the wrist of the hand, I guess. Finds himself hundreds of feet in the air. And Umbrasyl's like, ow. I am done with all of this. He goes invisible and goes into an aileron roll. Matt called it a barrel roll, but the move he signaled was an aileron roll.
Yep, there was no rudder involved. There's rudder involved in a barrel roll.
I'm sorry for all you Star Fox fans, but Star Fox does an aileron roll, not a barrel roll.
Yep. Do an aileron roll, Fox!
Yes.
And can I go back to the start of this scene? Not downing it in any way, not saying it's a bad thing, but I think it's starting to become abundantly clear that Liam is DMing in his off time.
Yeah.
Oh, because he was calling rules.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, just one after another. I mean, he was on it,
Yeah.
Yes,
but he's respectful about it.
Yes.
But I think it's become abundantly clear.
Yeah, that's the key though. He's respectful about it, but at the same time, he's also doing the way it comes across to me. Yeah, the way it comes across to me is he's not trying to tell Matt how to play the game or how to run the game. He's reminding Matt, "Hey, here's the rules. Are you making the call because you're interpreting the rules differently, or he's trying to learn to be a better DM?" Is the way I'm
thinking. And the other thing too that Liam said is he's like, I have no vision here. He's like, it would be different, I think, if he were actually in the situation, feeling what was happening, and he's trying to immerse himself in the situation and see what's going on, but he wasn't able to get a firm grasp on it. Yes. Is what it felt like to me. And so he's like, I have no vision here, Matt. So that's the reason I'm asking. He's like, I'm not trying to disagree with you, but I have no vision here. So help explain it to me the way that you see it, so that I can better understand what's going on and take the appropriate actions.
I think when Liam gets stressed too, it kind of comes across a bit, and I think he was very stressed about how this fight was going to go. Yes, and it kind of comes out a little bit as a bit snappy almost sometimes. I don't think he intends for it to be that way, but it just does, because he's just like, I don't want to die, I don't want anyone else to die. And
by the same token, he and Matt have been friends long enough that it's obvious that Matt understood where he was coming from.
Yeah, it didn't even faze him.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, Umbrasyl goes into this aileron roll and throws Grog off, throws Vex out. Scanlan goes... That's what I said.
No! You said Vex. Yay, I'm not the only one who does it.
I said Vax. I made certain I said Vax.
No, you didn't.
Well, threw Vax off. I will say it slower and more drawn out so everybody can understand me this time.
Vax.
Throws Vax out. Scanlan goes out with the Bigby's hand to catch Grog. And as Vax starts to fall, he calls out and makes an announcement that makes a dream come true, and at the same time serves me a full 4-course meal of crow. Because he announced he multiclassed into Paladin.
Whoa!
Congratulations,
I'm
Kalia.
right.
Oh,
Can I just say, I was in Discord with some of my D&D friends while we were watching this live, and the moment he announced it, I screamed like a little girl, and just said on Discord, I'm like, "Oh my God, Kalia was right! Kalia was right!" And I don't think anyone else knew who I was talking about, but I just,
yeah.
who's this Kalia, and why are you going crazy?
You're right.
Yeah, I was in the Critters D&D chat, and I said in all caps, "Suck it, Akiva!" I was like,
Yes.
yes. And it was awesome. There were some other people. My Twitter got bombarded
Oh my God.
instantly as soon as it happened. There were some other people that commented on Twitter that they were like, "I was a doubter too. You were right." And I tweeted out to Liam. I said, "Thank you for confirming the suspicions that I've had since the Kynan story arc." And somebody
Wow.
got kind of snarky with me about it. I'm like, "Look, if things had gone differently, I wouldn't mind, but I'd still seen things happening that way. I had still seen Vax going Paladin, and it made sense for his character. And for me, it was a no-brainer, I guess. Maybe because I've played a character that started off as a ranger and then later multi-classed into Paladin. It was the perfect choice. So Vaxidin is the best Vaxidin. And Akiva, enjoy your crow.
Yeah. Because, wow. I mean, seriously, I did not see this coming. I have failed as an analyst, and Kalia has bested me. But
Only in D&D,
total-
man.
Oh.
Only in D&D.
yep. So, Vax is now a Rogadin. Sneak attack, smite for days.
Yeah, except he won't get his smite until he hits third level, I think.
Second level.
Second level.
I said it right in Critters D&D the other day.
Yes.
So second level he gets his smite, and that will be cool. I really hope that Vax continues to take levels in Paladin, because 13 Rogue, 7 Paladin, especially if he goes Oath of Vengeance, which makes sense, again, is the sweet spot.
Yep.
So, I mean, he can do some really cool stuff, including once he hits level 7, level 7 Paladin, he can do the he can move up to half his movement to cut off an enemy to keep them from escaping.
Yes. And as Jess Go says in the chat here, Vaxidin is not a Vaxident.
Definitely not a Vaxident.
nice
Love
pun
your
work
play.
there, Jess. So Miss Arrow Runner is asking which tenets will he follow. It would make most sense because they're going after the dragons right now. It would make the most sense to me to go Oath of Vengeance because of what the dragons did to
Right.
his mother's town.
Yes.
Right.
So I don't now that Palivax is confirmed, I don't think that there's any other path that he would go with, given his backstory.
Yeah, because I mean they don't make sense for him. I looked extensively when I started down this whole Vax is going Paladin route. They don't make sense for him. Oath of Vengeance was more what made sense for Vax, especially because Oath of Vengeance level 7, they get that move up to half your movement as a reaction to stop an enemy from fleeing or to block their path. That to me was like, that's very, very roguey, because then you can use your movement, probably get a sneak attack on it, or apply some kind of extra damage there. So I really don't think Oath of Ancients is what he is going to go with. Although there would be story reason for it if he wants to pursue the relationship with Keyleth.
Yeah, I was going to say that, disclaimer, there is a small possibility that he goes, Oath of Ancients because it is so nature focused. And he does have a thing for Keyleth, and that could also be a driving force for why he went Paladin. However, when he made his announcement, he said, Paladin of the Raven Queen.
Raven Queen. Yes.
And because Paladin of the Raven Queen was said, that's what's making me think vengeance, because the Raven Queen is about life and death.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Not about nature. So
Yeah.
take that as you will. I really think Oath of Vengeance is the path he's going to take on that.
Mine too. It just seems to fit the best.
Man, this crow is tasty. So, so as they're going along, Scanlan catches Grog with, Bigby's hand, grabs onto Grog, and then drops Bigby's hand in order to polymorph Grog into a giant eagle. And Matt points out, you suddenly become smarter. Now, in most cases, I would argue, no, he really wouldn't. But this being Grog and going along the lines of intelligence, using intelligence to process information, not necessarily what you know, not how you know it, or how you use what you know, but more along the lines of how you are able to take in information.
Right.
Yeah,
And I mean,
see it.
we've said this before, as like, what's the definition of intelligent, right?
Mhm.
So what makes something intelligent? So I thought it was so funny that Matt, in all of that chaos, had that moment to think, wait on, what is the intelligence of a giant eagle, and is that smarter than Grog? Like,
Right.
Which it is.
this is hilarious, so funny.
Well, John, and actually with polymorph you do get the intellectual stats.
Yes.
So with polymorph, because he did true polymorph, yes, Grog got the mental stats as well. There is a lesser polymorph that would not have given him the mental stats. And with like beast and wild shapes, you don't get those mental stats. But since this was a true polymorph, you do.
Indeed. But so Grog is flying along. Vax does a quick prayer to the Raven Queen, and with a small voice in his head, left. He reaches out with his left hand, and he's able to grab onto Scanlan's cape. And
No, I
thankfully,
love.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I really love this moment because when he was birthed out of the dragon, as they like to describe it as the dragon gave birth to little Vax, and he started plummeting to his death, he kind of, when he announced his paladin class, he kind of said a prayer almost to the Raven Queen and said, if you have any wings to lend me, lend them to me now. And this was his answer. He kind of indicated that it was her voice that guided his hand to reach out left. And I just love that. I love how he picks his moments, to just pull all of his little strings together into this narrative that just is so good.
Indeed. So Vax reaches out, grabs the back of Scanlan's cape. And fortunately, because he's mini Vax, he doesn't pull Scanlan off of Grog. And instead, gets rescued. And earlier, as the rest of Vox Machina was heading out to catch up with the dragon, Keyleth had pulled the stone. I don't know exactly what the stone is called, but the teleportation stone,
The Gate Stone.
the gate stone, thank you, had pulled out the gate stone and had been focusing on that. And this is when it kicks off, and she, in her earth elemental form, appears right in front of Grog. Grog has to swerve out of the way, and she's too heavy to grab onto him. But they're at least in the same place now. So there's a whole, Wile E. Coyote moment of, oh, I'm in the air, and then she falls. And Marisha did a really nice little bit of flavor to it. She tucked into a cannonball, lit her hands on fire so that she would, become a flaming meteor as she hit the earth, pulling a whole Superman moment.
Typical
There was a
Keyleth,
lot
if
of
she's
art.
if she's gonna do something, she's gonna do it cool.
Indeed.
Yeah, there was lots of art that hit after this too, and Marisha tweeted a couple times. She was like, "How did you guys do this so fast?" So yeah, check the Critical Role fan art tag, and you will see some of these awesome Keyleth meteor artwork pieces out there.
And I do have to give props to Miss Arrow Runner for her reference there. She says, all I can think of is the movie Stardust. There's a scene in Stardust where I can't remember the character's name, but the star, falls to Earth. And granted, as Miss Arrow Runner just pointed out, it is as a human body, but the effect is essentially the same. Fell in, hit the Earth, huge crater. Beautiful woman stands up out of it.
Yep.
So, but
That is a great movie, by the way.
Oh yes, and Kat, I do have to say I thoroughly enjoyed your comment here in the notes. I imagine she takes a moment, shrugs, and goes meteor. Whee!
Yeah, so Keyleth.
So,
True polymorph. Just coming back to that, John O'Brien brought up that he thought it was a higher level. It is a 9th level.
Okay, so that would be
So
well above Scanlan to cast.
Yes,
You would
yes.
need another 4 levels to cast it.
So it was just narrative.
yeah, it was just narrative, but either way, we
Man,
got it on
I loved it.
the within the Critter Twitter sphere. We got a picture of Dr. Grog doing algebra as a giant eagle.
Oh,
Yes, it was awesome.
worth it.
So, everybody finally makes it down to the ground and reconvenes. And Matt introduces the guest player for that week. Kat, you said it best. I'll let you say it here.
Chris mother freaking Perkins.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes!
And,
Best player.
and a second dream comes true for many
Mercer.
critters.
Well,
Oh my
and for
God.
Mercer too.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm at a point where Mercer and the cast, they're critters just as much as we are.
Yep.
Yes.
Um,
I mean, in Discord again, I swear, so I don't get into Discord very often, and I don't think these guys will want me back. I was squealing like a little girl. I was just going mental. And one of the guys is like, "Are you gonna cry, Kat? Like, it sounds like you're gonna have a fit." I said, "I might. I just might." Like, it was all my dreams come true. I'm such a fangirl of Chris Perkins, and to have him on set with the Critical Role crew, oh, I was shaking the entire time. And then to think how Matt would be feeling. He's
Yeah.
DMing for Chris Perkins. I mean, that's unbelievable.
indeed.
Right, that was awesome. Now, I do want to see the reverse, where Chris Perkins DMs for all of Vox Machina, including Matt. I do want to see the reverse. I hope that they figure out a way to make it happen.
Like a one shot.
Yes.
Yeah,
Either a
Yeah, I
one
would
shot
like
or whatever they are willing to do. But So Chris Perkins comes out playing an old female Goliath, not orc as you have in the notes, Cat. I'm sorry. Um, but a previous member of Grog's herd, and by the name of Shale, who is a female Goliath with one eye, one arm, and a staff covered in runes.
Yep, the rune covered staff. So and again, that's probably a hint to the Thunder King.
Yes. And I honestly think now while they were going now after they had short rested and started traveling closer to the Dragon's Cave, Chris Perkins, he's playing a character that he expected to die. And he makes it very plain because they start going, or Chris starts naming off the items that his character has so that the party knows loot his body if he dies. But
I love how Vex was handing out the items.
Pretty much assigning them, yeah.
Like, you can take that one, and you'll take this one, and everyone's like, she's not dead yet.
Yes.
I know.
But it would make the most sense for you to get this one and you to get this one.
Yes. But now when Chris was, or when Shale was describing the staff, very much a call to the new runecaster and the new runes and all that are coming out.
Oh, right. Of course.
Because Chris blatantly said, it's got all these runes on it, and when you scratch off the rune, different effects will happen. So, I just thought that was a real nice introduction for a new mechanic that is coming out, so that Matt can easily say, well, here's where it started, and not have to worry about a hard introduction of a new mechanic into his game.
Right. Also, I wanna call out a comment that Jess made, if I can find it now. She says, "I adored Shale. Need me more Shale. An old warrior woman. Yes, please."
Yes. And there were in the Twitch chat for Geek and Sundry, there were those. I really hate to say it, but there were some of those people that were your fun is wrong when they were like, why is Chris playing a female character? It's D&D, people. Play what you want. Don't...
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do not let me catch anyone at any of my tables disrespecting a choice made by another player.
Right. Well, I mean, even in the Force Grey, one of the male players is playing a female character, and he openly said at the very beginning of the game, he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have a deep voice. Yeah, I'm gonna talk just like this. You're not gonna stop me because she smokes and she drinks a lot, so it's justified."
I'm surprised that's even a question. I'm surprised that's even...
It shouldn't be.
It really shouldn't. And, I mean, this goes all the way back to when D&D was first starting. Back with the first group, where it literally was all men playing. Because the community was so small, it was just the 5 of them, 6 of them, however many it was, when they were first developing this.
Right.
They were exploring what was possible. They were exploring different sides of themselves, different aspects of society and you're going to have female adventurers, and if a guy wants to play a female character, let them.
And vice versa if a girl wants to play a guy.
And yeah, exactly. And I am very sorry for getting up on a soapbox here, but I had to say it because that pissed me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it left a bad taste in your mouth.
Absolutely. And I hate seeing that division within any community.
So
Yes.
second week in a row, hashtag not at my table.
Yes.
You know,
Keep it going.
we don't want to see stuff like that. You know, everybody should be welcome to play any character that they want to play. I mean, I'm a transgender woman now. I still play male characters from time to time, as
All
it
fun
fits,
is right.
as I need to. You know,
Indeed.
I could not have played Sativ Irwin as a woman. It just wouldn't have fit.
It's about the character. It's the great thing about D&D is that moment that you as a person want to make a decision or play a certain way, but you know the character would not do that or not
Right.
be that. That's one of the great things about D&D.
Yes.
Indeed. But moving on before I turn this into a overly preachy episode. So they short rest as they traverse up the mountain via Eagle. Vex is not able to summon enough eagles to get them all at once, so they short rest while one group, travels up the mountain, the other group is short resting, and then vice versa. And they finally make their way to the entrance of Umbrasyl's lair. And there are two strange stones. That the only thing that Vox Machina can figure out about the stones is it's old magic.
Right.
Vox Machina needs a wizard.
So bad.
How many times did they roll for that? What, 5?
5 different
Ugh.
times, and all they got was, "Oh, this is old magic."
Old.
So,
I think there was a comment made in Critters D&D too while we were in there that they were like, first doors, now magic
Okay.
stones.
yes. At least they're upgrading.
It's a mortal enemy of Vox Machina.
Yes.
Doorknob.
So they circumvent that with Keyleth using Shapestone to gouge out another little hallway to go around them.
Which was smart move.
Very
And technically, those stones are kind of the dragon's door.
Yes.
Technically, so it's still doors.
It's still doors, but at least it's
It's
magical
still
door this time. At least it's a magical door.
We're counting it as a win.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what are your guys' thoughts on what those stones were?
I think they were a trap of some sort. Probably what I would have done, being the DM in that situation, going into a black dragon's lair, it would have given off a cloud kill, but of like an acidic variety. That's what I would have done with it.
Oh, gosh, you're
For the
evil.
mere- for
I'm
the
evil.
narrative, I would-
We knew this already.
We did. I thought it was an alarm. I saw
I'm
that
with
mentioned
you.
a couple of times in chat too, and I thought the same thing. The moment I saw them, it's an alarm spell.
That's interesting.
I mean, if this had been, why can't I remember the name of the green dragon now? If this had been the green dragon, it may have been a silent alarm spell, because green dragons are more sociable. They like to talk to their food before they eat it. Black dragons are irascible. And they don't like people. They just want the gold, and they want the meal. So yeah, I'm entirely certain My opinion. Had it been me, it would have been like an acid trap of some sort.
Cody, what do you think?
I mean, I'm going with the alarm, honestly. Not because of any other thing other than the narrative. I think that the way Matt is playing, I gotta go with the alarm, just because of the way Matt is playing the dragon so far.
Yeah.
That's a good point. To answer your question, Kalia, on who the Green Dragon was, John O'Brien in chat
Yep.
reminds us Rashawn.
Raishan, yep.
Raishan. However it's
Rashawn.
pronounced.
Rashawn.
Yes, and I have to agree with John again. He says, after the traps in Rhymefang's lair, I was expecting a major trap. I actually think it would have triggered some sort of cave-in, blocking the primary entrance.
Oh, cool.
True. Yeah. I can see that.
Giving the Black Dragon time to decide, do I want to just grab what gold I have and go?
Yep.
Or do I want to sit down and set up a defense?
Good point.
And dragons usually do have some form of escape from their lair.
They
Some kind of hidden escape.
They always have a hidden rear exit.
Yep.
So that's what I was thinking. Something to trigger a cave-in to slow the adventurers down.
Which is why I thought alarm, but the cave-in makes sense too.
Mm-hmm.
That would have bought time.
But of course, by bypassing it, we never actually find out what it is. And then Vax stealths in to try and find out exactly where Umbrasyl is. And this is where the complaints about how long Umbrasyl's greater invisibility came in, because he was still invisible, even after taking the time to heal up, because dragons have hit dice too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They are...
And I'm going to remind everybody here too, as a player, if you short rest, you can expend up to all of your hit dice to heal.
And the same goes for your enemies.
The same goes for a dragon.
Yes. So, does it seem unfair to some people? But we're not talking about a video game. We're not talking about something that is easy. We're trying, as DMs, our job is to make our players heroes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
a name is earned.
Yes. So we're
Honestly,
going to make...
it would have been boring if they just walked in and went, boom, boom, dead.
That's... Yeah.
So, Umbrasyl, still invisible, Vax walks in and bumps into it, and combat starts.
Jenga.
In true
Jenga.
Vox Machina fashion.
With Vax going, Jenga. So, but to be fair, when he was talking to Vex before he went in, and he was like, and as he left to go in, he whispered to his sister, Jenga, and then went in. So, just rather interesting.
Well, and I liked the fact too that Vex said, "You've got a minute. If I don't hear anything from you in a minute, then we're coming in regardless of whether you tell us, regardless of whether or not you say anything, we're coming in after you."
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I feel like they have learned from past mistakes on that for sure.
But, by the same token, it shows that they are learning from their mistakes, which is amazing.
Yes.
So yeah, Miss Arrow Runner says that they put up on Twitter a sad tweet and had all of the Twitter sphere up in arms against them. So imagine if Vax gets really low in health and Vex puts him in a gem like Grog, and then everyone else perishes. And then Flower Boy is added to it. He comes out, God knows how long after they're all dead, thinking they got home safely, only to find a new party in front of him.
Oh,
God! If
Oh.
I had seen that, I would have started crying, like right then and there. I won't do it here
Holy
because
crap!
yeah,
Jesus.
Where does that idea come from, Miss Arrow?
Miss Arrow, you are probably the cruelest among us, but at the same time, it is completely possible, and I.
If you say anything
hats
other
off
than
to you.
applaud you, I was going to say, Akiva, if you say anything other than applaud you, I'm disowning you.
Oh no, I
It's-
totally applaud her. My hat
Yeah,
is
that's-
off to her.
That is amazing.
And,
Well
and
thought out.
just as a point, Miss Arrow Runner's preferred pronoun is they.
Oh, my
Just so you
apologies.
know.
My apologies, Miss Arrow Runner. My apologies. I was not meaning to offend, but
Very
I-
difficult on the internet.
thing.
my hat's off to them. So
Yeah, I think Miss Arrow Runner is on my level as far as evil bastard goes.
yes. So, going back in, the battle resumes. We've got some interesting things that go on. Some of the layer abilities showing up there with insect plague popping out and 2 uses of darkness. But the party does a very good job of forcing Umbrasyl to use its legendary resistances.
Yes.
Indeed. Legendary resistances are a per day. Legendary actions are per round.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
And I think a few people were getting a bit confused.
yes.
Right.
The legendary resistances are I choose to succeed. Whereas legendary actions are it may not be my turn, but I'm going to do this anyway.
Yep.
Right.
So,
You got to get those resistances out early.
yes.
Yeah. Burn them as best you can.
But some of the greatest moments, when Keyleth uses Fairy Fire,
Mm-hmm.
great uses there.
Yes.
She used it so well this battle. It was fantastic.
Yes. The when Percy used his action surge to just unleash holy hell on Umbrasyl.
Yes. That was so amazing. And that's one of the reasons that I love fighters.
Indeed.
Action surge with 3 or 4 attacks.
I
It's all good.
I don't remember who, so if you're listening and know who you are, leave a comment or, let us know in chat who you are. Somebody posted a GIF from Robin Hood Men in Tights where, why can I not think of Blinken? The
rage gift.
Yeah, where
Oh.
Blinken, the blind butler for Robin, is sitting there in battle, just
hacking
hacking away. And it fit perfectly. Yes, the blinking gift, Miss Arrow Runner,
Amazing.
the blinking gift.
That's another
I
good
did
movie.
I did not
So
see
good.
that posted, but that is amazing, and I know exactly what the image is.
Yes.
Because I've seen the movie so much. That's awesome.
It was just blinking rage.
Yes. Just roar. But yeah. And I almost I had a coughing fit. I was laughing so hard. And Scanlan's Stinking Cloud really saved them from at least one, if not two, uses of Umbrasyl's breath weapon.
Yes, great use of that.
Keyleth ends up going Water Elemental in order to gain acid resistance. Great use of that mechanic there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not only that, but water elementals are pretty damn tanky.
Yes.
So that was
True.
another good choice.
And Matt's response to that. Look at you being all druidy.
Yes.
Was so cute. Look at you being all druidy and shit. And she's like, "That's what I do."
You know, I think this actually kind of marked. We've talked a couple times before about Marisha getting kind of bullied at the table,
Yeah.
and I think this was one of the first episodes where she just did her own thing, and every decision that she made was awesome.
Yes.
Yes.
She just got into her flow, let it happen, and she made the right choices, and it was awesome.
Well,
It
even
is.
even beyond making the right choices, she made the choices that fit for Keyleth and went with the flow of combat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where
So
the
John-
magic happened.
Yes.
John has a question for us here. As a DM, would you want to see if the Golden Snitch is balanced? Taliesin had 6 more crits on Thursday night.
Yeah, but he rolls so many ones.
Yeah, if with him it was very much
Polar
a case,
opposite thing.
yeah, a case of extremes. He'd get those
Yeah.
natural 20s, but he got a lot of nat 1s as well.
Yes.
So,
And speaking on Taliesin, just to kind of segue into something completely different, which I apologize for, but I noticed him a lot now, still trying to take care of everyone, and them already being one step ahead of that, which I
is
think
it
is adorable.
rule-wise?
Yes, yeah, just trying to make sure. I remember, in the earlier episodes, he would be there next to him to kind of clarify the different rules and whatnot, and now he's still doing that, but they're a little bit more ahead of the punch than they were in the earlier episodes, which I think is just adorable that he's still there, trying to
Very
make sure everybody's taken care of.
Yeah, that's very true. Because he's always like
Uh,
reading people's spells to help them out and things like that, and it's almost getting to the point where they're like, yeah, we know.
Right.
And also, Miss Arrow Runner, when did the whole Ashley blowing a kiss to Sam happen? I have seen the GIF, but I don't know when it was
I don't think
during
that
the
was
episode.
was that this episode? I don't remember it
think
happening this episode. I know she's done
I think
it
it
once
might have
before.
been the last one.
Yeah. I know she
Yeah.
did it, in the previous actual episode. I don't think she did it in this episode.
I think that might be a couple of different ones strung together to look. Maybe.
Possibly. I don't know.
I-
We'll
I don't
have
remember.
I don't remember this episode anyway.
Yeah, we'll go and we'll take a look, and we will get back to you in the comments once the video goes live on Monday. But moving on with the combat, Scanlan uses his Warcaster ability to get, or when Umbersyl's trying to retreat, tries to use Bigby's hand to keep it in place, but of course fails to keep it in place. And the part that had me wondering if I was going to die from not being able to breathe because I was laughing so hard. Keyleth uses a guiding strike to create a radiant suppository.
Oh,
you mean
yeah.
Pike?
Pike.
Pike
That's
does
what I
this?
said.
Yeah.
I said Pike, didn't I?
You said Keyleth. You said
Oh,
Keyleth.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm like, Keyleth does guiding strike? That's
No,
interesting.
no, it was Pike. Pike did the. I don't know what is up with me in names today. I saw
It's okay.
Ashley in my head. I thought I said Pike, but no,
Got a
Pike
lot
does.
going on.
Pike has a. Pike
Holy
does a guiding strike with a
suppository.
radiant suppository. It just the way Matt did it.
He had like the dragon up on his hind legs. Like,
It sits up.
Oops. Sorry, guys. I thought I hit pause already. Sorry.
so cute.
He sits up, cocks his head like, what the? Poof. Hold on one moment while I.
Yeah, we have a troll.
Yeah,
Ugh.
Oh, this happens at live chat.
it happens sometimes, but that's okay. Just let's ignore it and move on. So at the end, after Bigby's hand fails and Umbrasyl moves to the back of the cave. Grog walks up to Bigby's hand and readies his action. So Scanlan grabs or uses Bigby's hand to
Fastball special.
sort of picks up Grog and carries him over to Umbrasyl. I had expected Bigby's hand to pick up Grog and throw him, but instead just
Right.
carries him. And I think it was that turn when Scanlan inspires Shale by flirting, essentially.
Yep. Oh, that made me uncomfortable, but
It was the
you go ahead,
weirdest choice.
Scanlan.
And Shale's response was perfect.
Yes.
Have you ever had sex?
It's so Chris Perkins.
Yeah.
It is so Chris Perkins. Him
was-
to just be like, "Yep, I'm just gonna ask this question and just let it hang."
It was perfect.
And I remember
Anyone?
I said in Critters D&D chat that I said plot twist. Scanlan talks a good game. It didn't exactly come out like this, but this was what I intended. Scanlan talks a good game about being with the ladies, but he's only ever been with one, and that was the mother of Kaylee.
Actually, that's
Yeah.
exactly the way it came out. And
I think
I was...
that's a perfect narrative.
Say again?
I think that's a perfect narrative for
Yes.
Scanlan.
And
And we have a little bit of evidence with the pieces that Kit drew, where Scanlan was at the slumber party with Zara and Lilith and those other tieflings, where he's sitting around just talking. He's not doing anything there. So there is a little bit of evidence to support that. But that was kind of my headcanon.
And actually, it makes a lot of sense, because if that is the case, and I'm fairly certain that Sam is like, no, he really has been with a lot of women, but the way Scanlan carries on, it's like he's overcompensating.
Yep.
All the time, yeah.
Oh, definitely. Well, I think I'm with John. With John in chat, the first thing I think of is episode 1, and I don't think I could ever get that image out of my head. Episode 1, where they go to the brothel, and he just goes to town with just how, like, descriptive he is on what he's doing there, and I'm like, wow. I think he's been around, and I think he's had his fair share of ladies, but that would be quite a funny plot twist if in the end it had only been the one.
Well, I mean,
Well,
But
even if it
I don't think that's the case.
even if it hasn't been just the one, this is going off of the idea that brothel encounters don't count because that's a guaranteed eventuality.
right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right.
The girls are there for your money, not for you.
Right.
And Scalen's all about, I can get anything I want from a lady because I am who I am.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
So we're talking about real scoring.
Yes.
Right. I mean, look at Pike.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only time we've really seen him go after anyone.
That's
Right.
true. Like, seriously.
Yes.
Right.
She is the
Like
Mount
Mary.
Everest for Scanlan. She is Scanlan's Mount Everest.
Oh my god, I want it to happen so bad.
Oh,
I had my mind blown a few episodes ago when I was finally turned to the Pike is sweet on Grog.
no.
You're welcome.
Oh no.
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 I'm not saying that anything romantic will happen because of it. I'm saying
I'm
that
going to find a
that's where-
cannon, and I'm going to sink your ship.
Hey guys. Hey guys. Need I remind you? I was right about Vax Paladin.
No. No.
No. Just no. There are sweet little buddies. No.
Yes.
And now I'm trolling
Thank
you
you,
guys.
Cody.
It's okay.
Thank you.
So
Now I'm trolling.
moving on.
Moving on.
But in the end, Grog gets the "How do you want to do this?" and he essentially pulls what he did with the bullet, going in to take off the jaw and get into the brain casing there. So, but just wow.
So
we're all sort of speechless at the end
yeah,
there.
there was just so many moments
It was-
where it could have went either way. And
Yeah.
it did really well.
It was the biggest relief, I think, in Critical Role.
So far,
I really thought we were losing a party member.
Yes.
I
That's
think-
one.
I think when it comes time to face Thordak, I don't want to say
Yeah.
it. I don't want because I don't hope for this in the slightest.
Right.
But I think we're possibly losing one to Thordak.
Right.
It's very
I mean-
possible.
I thought we were already losing one, this episode, but I mean, I
Well,
think
we
maybe
almost
he's
lost
keeping
two,
up to that.
technically.
Yeah, we
True.
did almost lose two because both Trinket
Trinket.
and Percy were knocked unconscious.
And can I just say how surprised I was when she let Trinket out?
I know.
Right? That blew my mind. I'm like, are you crazy?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
You pick now.
Yeah.
Trinket only
Yeah.
has like 60 something hit points.
Okay, so I just saw the kiss. It happens at 2:46:27. Go a little bit before that. But it is 2 hours 46 minutes and 27 seconds. I just saw it on the VOD.
Okay.
Sorry.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
Missed
There you
out.
go. Totally.
But yeah, when Vex let Trinket out, he's only got 60 something hit points. He took a wing attack and then took acid damage.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Cryomancer Maurice asked, "Trinket counts?" Yes, he very much counts
Oh,
with how
yes,
much
of course he does.
with
Yeah.
how much emotional attachment that Vox Machina has with Trinket, he counts as a party member.
Of course.
As far as hit points go, Cryomancer Maurice also says Trinket should have more. Unfortunately, pets don't level up.
Mm-hmm.
So, unless the DM makes the ruling otherwise, they start with a set
Well, yeah.
amount of hit
They used
points
to
and
level.
they stay. They used to.
They used to with Rangers, but
Yeah,
they don't any
They
longer.
don't anymore.
Honestly, the Beastmaster class. I don't want to say class.
Archetype.
Beastmaster archetype. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for, and I couldn't think of it. That it's really, it needs work. It
does.
needs
Yeah.
a lot of work.
It's
I've
a little
played
underpowered.
A Beastmaster, and it's a trudge.
Yes.
Sadly.
But
It's worth it.
Very much so.
I was curious though if Trinket had dropped. Vex is utterly destroyed because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, she learns to pick up the pieces and move on. What do you think she would take as her next? What do you think she would take as her next animal companion? Or do you think Matt, being a kind and merciful DM, would let her go Path of the Hunter?
I would hope he would let her switch. Sorry, Cody.
Yeah, I think that's the best option. I mean, it's not just Vex getting over Trinket; it's us getting over Trinket.
Right. It's the entire party, and it's us, the critters.
And I don't think I could see her having another pet.
I was just trying to think of it, and I was like, I can't think of any of them in 5e that I could think would replace Trinket.
Right. I mean, if someone ever wanted to go Beastmaster and they asked me about it, like what would be the best pet as a DM, my advice is always to have a bird of some kind, because they're good for scouting purposes. They're tiny. You can keep them safe.
By the same token, if you're looking for a pet that you want to join you in combat, I recommend a giant elk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Because a giant elk using a ram attack. Oh!
Just don't get attached. Just don't
You
get
can
attached.
also go like dire wolf too in later levels.
Yes.
Of course.
Uh,
Yeah.
So I mean, you can
Takes
start
some
off
doing,
with just a standard wolf. This is the way I would do it as a DM. Hey, look, you got this awesome little wolf cub. By the time you hit level 6 or whatever, this awesome little wolf cub now stands as tall as you do. Is as long as your entire party when they're standing line abreast. It has an appetite.
That's exactly how I played it. And it was great.
Yes.
I mean, Lucille is my girl. Okay.
Oh, that's adorable. And see, but it is up to the DM to kind of play with that a bit because sadly the game itself doesn't really lend to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You definitely need some doing.
Yes. Now, Cryomancer Maurice makes a rather interesting point. Vex's next animal companion would be Percy, or a baby cub. So I think we know where in the shipping lanes Cryomancer Maurice lands. He's definitely on a Persalia.
I like it.
But yeah, Grog gets the victory, and Shale gives Grog the dragon tooth necklace that Shale was wearing.
And it doubled his HP.
I don't know if it. I don't know if it doubled his HP. It doubles his hit dice results when he heals.
I thought that I heard Perkins saying it doubles your HP. There was a lot of discussion from Laura and Travis back and forth, and they were like, "It doubles your HP. It doubles your HP." And Travis kind of had a look like, "Oh, yes!"
I do remember that clear.
That puts him up over 200 HP, like close to 3.
I don't know. I'm gonna have
Now,
to go
was
back
it-
and rewatch it because I thought he said only the amount of HP you regain from your hit die. So when you roll your hit die, double that.
I think that's it. I don't think it's your entire entire
yeah.
pool gets
Like,
doubled. I think it's what you roll.
Okay.
Either way, Grog is now Ultra Tank.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, everybody in chat is saying double hit dice on short rest.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I thought. So, all right. But they didn't divide up any treasure or anything. They were going to, the party insisted, despite Vex's greed issue, the party insisted making sure that most of the gold went back to Western.
Which is great.
Yes.
Dale didn't die.
Shale did not die. She went back down to
The herd.
the herd in Western, and Xanror decided that what's left of the herd is no longer the herd of storms. They are going to join up with I can't remember the
Some river folk?
the river barbarians, the elves that left.
Yeah. Kind of retire in a way, apparently.
In a sense. But, considering that there were only, 6 of the Herd of Storms left.
True.
There's not an... Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing.
Yeah. With only 6 members left, there's no way the Herd of Storms would be able to reconstitute itself.
And I have to agree with Cryomancer. It's going to be heavy RP next episode.
Yes.
Personally, I'm looking forward to that.
Miss Arrow Runner...
I need a breath.
I'm with Miss Arrow Runner. The next episode is going to start with looting. My inner Vex is happy.
Aww.
So, but yes, John says Matt and Chris were just so wonderful about that scene.
Yes.
They played
They
so well
were.
off each other. We had that moment
It was
of the two
amazing.
DMs. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
So
awesome. That was awesome.
They
And
did-
that was the instance where I was like, this is why we invited Chris on the show. He was brilliant in that moment.
This was was
He had been quiet for the majority of the episode, but we got that piece right there, and I was like, this right here is why he got invited.
Well,
Yes.
that's why we wanted him on the show in the first place, because we knew that was capable of being there. And as far as
Right.
Chris being quiet during most of the game, I've seen him as a player in 2 separate instances, and that's his play style. He'll get
Right.
he gets in there for the role playing aspect, is quiet, lets the combat happen, and then gets back into the role playing aspect.
Did you have something to say, Cody?
Oh no, just agreeing with you guys. Yeah, I think you're making excellent points. With Chris, he's more. He doesn't do the talking back and forth out of character as much as, let's say, Critical Role does.
Yes.
He keeps the table talk to a minimum.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a different style.
He is one of those players that I strive to be, where he tries to do as much as possible in character at all times.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm. Way.
So,
I don't think I'll ever be that, but I strive.
yes.
I'm that way with Teleri. I describe my actions as me, but it's totally what Teleri would do, and all of my speech comes out as Teleri when I am playing her. So I'm a good mix between the two.
So,
I think it has a lot to do with what you're playing. You might be playing a character because that's what the party warrants to, and then there's the campaigns you're playing the character that you absolutely love to play, and I think that
Mhm.
that makes a huge difference.
Yes, it really
Right.
does.
It definitely does.
So,
All right, so DM's Corner for this week.
indeed. So I saw a couple of questions going out to Merles and Perkins um, regarding Druidic Wild Shape. So I thought we should touch on that, especially with how useful it was in the Umbrasyl fight. Um, so, as we know, Druids have Wild Shape where they can change into various animals as well as different elementals. Um,
Depending.
Depending on
Right.
certain things, like if they've seen the animal, what the CR of the animal slash elemental that they're trying to get into, whether or not it can fly, the level of the druid, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So
And I don't. Can Circle of the Lands, can they actually do Elemental?
I've got it
yes.
pulled up. And Jess actually is a Circle of the Land Druid, so she may be able to answer for us as well.
Because
But
I only
yeah.
went Circle of the Moon, and I'm not 100% certain on lands, but I don't think they can go Elemental.
Circle of the Land. They get natural recovery, circle spells.
No, they cannot.
No.
So, Circle of the Moon is the circle that is able to go into elemental wild shape. Quick, before we get too far into this, Miss Arrow Runner asks, where do I send questions again? Because I just remembered a thing I need to ask. If you wish to ask a question, you can do it one of three ways. You can either send it to the official show Twitter at Gilmore_gossip, or you can send it to one of the hosts, and we will put our Twitters out there again as we do our closing for the show. Or you can leave it in a comment on the video. You don't have to wait until the video is up or the podcast is up. Just contact us via Twitter, and if we can answer quickly, we might answer via Twitter. If it takes a little bit longer, we may put it here in the video. Either way, you will get an answer. But going back into Wild Shape, it is Circle of the Moon in order to do the elemental Wild Shape. At Keyless level, she has 2 Wild Shapes per day. In order to use an elemental form, you have to use both of the Wild Shapes at the same time. However, Wild Shape returns on a short rest.
Yeah, I actually had someone say when everyone was giant eagling it after the dragon, and someone said, oh, Keyleth is just sitting there not doing anything, that stone's useless, why doesn't she just turn into an eagle already? And I said, well, she's elemental, which means she's used both of her shifts. She can't turn into anything else.
Yes,
So.
and if she had short rested to get her B shape, her wild shape back, she would have had to use one in order to get up the mountain in eagle shape, which means she would not have had 2 to go water elemental in combat.
Correct. It's best to save it.
Yes. But once you get into Archdruid at level 20, that goes out the window and you can use Wild Shape as many times as you wish.
Yep.
Gosh, if you get to level 20, you might as well just be like, that's it. I'm out.
Yeah. At level 20,
I'm
your
God now.
Yeah, at level 20, your character's ready to quote-unquote pass into legend and essentially retire. But there are some people who like to play play level 20 just for a little bit, just to get a feel for it. Just sort of a celebration lap, as it
Guys,
were.
epic level campaigns are so much fun, though.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
so much fun. I got to play one in 3.5, and I was dropping 400 plus damage a turn
Oh,
on
my
on a 17 to 20 crit chance.
Wow.
lord.
Jesus.
Maybe
So-
one day. Maybe one day.
Dragon Rider, I mean, it was awesome.
I'm actually looking forward to the day when Wizards of the Coast says it's time to let people have these epic level campaigns and publishes those expansions.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it has its place for sure. I mean, you would have those people that if they did have the changing elemental whenever every combat round is going to be fire. Well, now I'm water elemental. Well, now I'm rock elemental. But with the right crowd, it can be really, really fun.
Yeah, well, see, the thing about Wild Shape is it's still a magical effect.
Right.
So if they Wild Shape and somebody casts Dispel Magic or Anti-Magic Zone, Wild Shape
Boom.
goes away.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, Anti-Magic Zone is my answer to Druids.
Yeah.
So,
John, he's asking. Matt was considering epic level Vox Machina, right? It
He was.
depends.
Yes, he was.
It was.
he's considering it. He hasn't given a definitive answer yet, though. So, we'll have to wait and see.
I could just imagine
I
him
mean,
playing like gods.
Yeah.
Yeah,
be
I mean,
amazing.
because that's what happened in my epic level campaign. I think my character, I have the experience up to level 28, but I did not complete the level up for level 28. But I've got the experience for it sitting right there on my sheet.
I think the highest I've ever played a game to was 24
Okay.
in 3.5. And at that point, we had taken down one of Bane's lesser god children. And at that point, we're like, yeah, that was a very difficult fight, but I think we want something a little less earth-shattering for our story. So, because at that point, you are literally changing the world, changing the way the world works.
Yes.
So much fun. Epic levels are so much fun, guys. But I pulled us off of the druid topic. Sorry.
Oh, I thought we were done with the druid topic. I mean, it's just
were we?
it's-
Okay.
So essentially, what it is 2 bursts, 2 wild shapes per day. You get the hit point pool of your wild shape, but when that hit point pool hits 0, you just go back into your normal druid form. And from there,
Any damage that you take over that though does hit your own character as well.
yes,
Yep, it transfers over.
It doesn't disappear. You don't stay in it endlessly either. When you're in B shape, it's the number of hours equal to half of your level, rounded down.
yes.
So
So at 13th level, Keela can stay in for 6 hours.
and you take on all the physical stats, but not the mental.
Correct.
And also, Miss Arrow Runner does bring up the point. Mercer had mentioned, I believe it was during a Periscope recently, where he said if there's a party wipe, they're going to play in the same world but countries away and in the future of the world. I believe he had mentioned that on a Periscope, if I'm remembering right.
He's mentioned it on a Periscope. He's also mentioned it at 2 of the 3 Q&As.
Yes.
I think he mentioned that
that's what
desert
it was.
place. The desert?
Yes, he
Yes, he did.
Murat, I think it was.
Mirat? Which would be amazing. That would be really cool.
So,
I think it'd be really, really cool to see maybe if they do get to that point, having Vox Machina in the lore. Just little
Yes.
nods here and there.
yes.
And I mean, like Liam said, he's like, I want to see it all, man. I want to go everywhere, so...
Yep.
So, it'll be rather interesting. It will
A
be
lot
rather
of directions to go.
But I think that will bring us to the end of this week's episode. Thank you, everybody who joined us in the live chat. If you couldn't make the live chat, that's quite all right. It is every Saturday, 9 p.m. Central U.S. time for our international critters. But if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to catch us each and every week. Send in any of your D&D questions using the hashtag DMsCorner. If you want to submit art or send us your questions directly, please contact us via Twitter. I'm at Akiva David, AKIVADAPHYDD.
I'm at Cosmic Candy, COSMICCANDI.
And I'm at Kitten Smitten G, KITTENSMITTNG on Twitter.
And many thanks to Cody for joining us this week and sharing his amazing story at the beginning of the show. Cody, what's your Twitter in case anybody wishes to contact you?
At Hey There Cody 356. That's CODY. And thank you guys. I mean, it's been a blast. I've had so much fun with this. Thank you for giving me a platform to kind of give the praise that it's deserved of my anonymous critter angel, Critical Scope, Matt Mercer, all the critters that helped me out, retweeting, liking it. It has meant more to me than any of them know. A lot of teary, messy nights, a lot of humble feelings, and just sorry, getting a little emotional right now, but it's just goes to show what critters are, who we are, and what we can do.
Indeed.
It's an amazing community, and thank you guys for kind of allowing there to be a platform for that.
Well, if it weren't for the Critters community, we would not exist. So thank you all for allowing
Thank
us
you.
to be able to do this.
We are a force of nature.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
All of us.
Watch us change the world, one life at a time.
So
Yeah.
we hope you guys
so well
enjoyed.
said.
Until next week, kick back, relax, and enjoy your games.
May all your hits be crits.
Have a nut 20 day.